What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a little bit of a look at a bunch of news, including a lovely new promo card, which is going to be coming in an upcoming issue of V-Jump over in Japan. And this is actually a really interesting promo, and one that we need to have a good old look at. Now, it has been revealed over on Twitter by, actually, weirdly, the official One Piece Twitter, not the official One Piece TCG Twitter, but it is going to be in the April issue of V-Jump magazine. And for what it's worth, V-Jump has been one of those magazines, and there's been a couple like Psycho Jump over in Japan, that has actually been really good to the One Piece TCG. We've had a bunch of promos coming in V-Jump over the years. Like, for instance, recently we had Jinbei, which was interesting because the Jinbei actually turned out to be, like, legit kind of playable. And then that created a little bit of an issue because, you know, this promo ended up being worth 2 or 3 times what the magazine was. It's got counter plus 2,000, and on play, you rest one of your opponent's 1 cost or lower characters. So, not an absolutely stunning staple in every deck, but certainly a playable, viable card, and that makes things kind of interesting when these end up being quite good. Or, for instance, we saw there was the Sabo Treasure Cruise promo a little while ago. Basically, there have been a bunch. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but actually I'm going to give you one more. That Smoker, the really cool Smoker that we got as a pre-release promo, did actually start life as a V-Jump promo. My point is, they've done this a bunch of times before, and look, let's face it, this is not going to be the last time that we have a V-Jump promo. It's not going to happen. Well, I suppose it is going to happen, is probably a better way to put it. So this new Captain Kid, is it any good? And the short answer is actually yeah. It's basically a budget version, and I mean that in terms of both price and cost, of the Op-01 Captain Kid, which we know is actually, like, legitimately good and playable. Now, Op-01 Captain Kid, 8 cost, 8,000 power, and we've got Don X1 on your opponent's turn. If this character is rested, your opponent can only attack the character Captain Eustace Kid, and it's got an activate main once per turn that lets you rest this character to play a character of a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Well, this has basically got the first skill, but you don't need to put any Don on. What this one says is, while this character is rested, your opponent cannot attack characters other than Captain Eustace Kid. And I'm going to put a Japanese Op-01 Kid on the screen here next to it just for a second. I don't expect you all to be able to read the Japanese perfectly, but if you want to just pause the video and compare the characters, you'll notice that other than saying Don X1 on your opponent's turn, it is literally exactly the same wording. It is the exact same skill, but it's not just on your opponent's turn, but honestly, it's talking about what your opponent's allowed to attack. So realistically, it doesn't really matter whether it's on your turn or your opponent's turn. They're only attacking on their turn, and it's not Don X1. Other than that, literally same wording. Exactly the same wording. So when I said it's a budget version of Op-01 Kid, I meant it very sincerely. It is a 5 cost, not an 8 cost, 6,000 power rather than an 8,000 power. Still no counter. You don't get the second skill. You don't get to play a character for free, which is obviously a phenomenal skill, let's be clear. But this Op-01 Kid has seen play since Op-01. It's been a very good card. And that first skill is very good. It basically grinds a game down to a stalemate while your opponent tries to get rid of your kid so they can kind of carry on the game. And okay, fine, you got 2,000 less power, so you will be easier to get rid of, I understand. But if you're just focused on this first skill, and this first skill is a very good skill, let's be clear, well, you can now have it on a 5 cost character rather than an 8 cost character. I am not saying this is going to be a game-breaking card that's going to be a staple in every deck or anything silly like that, but I 100% absolutely am saying this is a viable card. This is a good card, and honestly, right, if I'm in Japan, I'm going to pick up this magazine like as fast as possible, because we've seen this with magazine promos in Japan, where they're good, where they're viable. You kind of have to pick them up quick, because when the magazine comes out, like, I imagine I'll be able to get this copy of V-Jump pretty easily. I have bought many issues of V-Jump, and for what it's worth, yes, I have bought every single issue of V-Jump that has a One Piece promo in. I have all the V-Jump One Piece promos. I actually have a complete, actually I'm missing a couple of the more recent ones. I have a nearly complete, that will soon be back to complete, Japanese promo collection. I collect Japanese promos, partly because it's actually a little bit easier than collecting English promos, and partly because it means you get to buy random magazines and stuff, which is way more fun. But this should be a popular one, and this is, I can't promise it's a great card. I can't promise it's going to see a gigantic amount of play, but I absolutely can tell you it is a good, viable card. And look, the Jinbei caused problems the other day for being a little bit too good. So I'm just saying, this is one that you probably need to pick up sooner rather than later. It is a very good magazine promo. In Japan, it's coming in the April issue of V-Jump magazine, which actually releases in 5 days. It releases on February the 21st, so keep an eye out if you want to be picking that up. And yeah, this seems like a very cool magazine. Yes, I will be ordering it in 5 days' time, obviously. You know the deal by now. I showed you the Smoker promo, for instance. That was a pre-release promo. We get all these Japanese promos. I cannot tell you exactly how and when we're getting them, but I'm telling you that we're getting all of these promos. We always get these promos in some way or another. And actually, with the Smoker, it was kind of cool. We did get the pre-release winner version as well. So there is always a chance this comes out as a pre-release promo, and then we get another version of it. But there are a couple of cards coming in Op-07 to which I want to bring your attention, because they're ones we've never had any version of, and they're just kind of interesting and kind of cool, and I want to tell you about them, and I don't know, they fit quite nicely in here, alright? So let's talk about them in here, including, yes, that card we were all hoping for, Afro Luffy. As soon as we saw that there was going to be a Foxy leader in the set, we were all thinking, come on, Afro Luffy. Well, I mean, the card is obviously just called Monkey D. Luffy, obviously. But it is that Luffy from that fight, and it's kind of awesome. 6 cost, 7,000 power. Obviously, it's a Straw Hat Pirate. It is not a Foxy Pirate. And there's no counter here. And we've got Activate Main once per turn. Don -3. If your opponent has 3 or more characters, activate this character. And I adore this so much. Because remember, the whole point of this version of Luffy is that it is a direct response to Foxy. This is the version of Luffy that beats Foxy. And what's Foxy's skill? If you have 3 or more Foxy Pirates in play, you can choose a suspended leader and character of your opponents, and they don't unsuspend during your opponent's next turn. And it's a Don -3, just like Luffy is a Don -3. So I adore the fact that Foxy as a leader's like, hey, get 3 Foxy Pirates out, it's going to be worth it. But then we've got Luffy coming in here being like, mate, if you've got 3 characters out, I am going to make you pay for that. I just think, I mean, the fact that we're getting Afro Luffy at all is brilliant, okay? But the fact that the card is such a good, very specific card against the Foxy leader just honestly makes me absolutely delighted. But the other card I want to shout out here, the other card to which I want to bring your attention, and I adore this so much, and I didn't know if we were going to get one of these ever, but we are, and I am absolutely delighted. Hattori. We're actually getting a Hattori, the bird. Rob Lucci's bird gets its own card in this set. I am beyond delighted. It's both an animal and CP0. 1 cost, 0 power. It's a bird. But then also counter plus 2,000 is like legit good. And during your turn, and it has to be during your turn, not your opponent's, when this card is played, you give up to one of your Rob Lucci's plus 2,000 power. And I did translations here myself. It's really important to note it specifically powers up Rob Lucci. It is not a character or a leader. It is just Rob Lucci. So you can use this to beef up your character if you want, but you can also use it to beef up your leader. And of course, Rob Luchi is one of the leaders in this set. Although there is a Rob Luchi character in this set as well that we've not yet talked about. And it is Rob Luchi in Devil Fruit form, which we'd never had before Op-07. Now we got a leader and a character. And what that one does is, on play, you may put 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Then you discard a card from your opponent's hand, or your opponent has to discard a card from their hand. And then you get to put up to 1 card from your opponent's trash on the bottom of their deck. But bearing in mind, we've got stuff like Gecko Moria that likes to play characters from the trash. So actually here, this seems to be a response to cards like that, where you can be like, oh, no. Let's get this character out the way here so that it can't then be played with Gecko Moria, which actually is kind of cool, honestly. I just, while I'm talking about the Rob Luchi character, it seems weird not to then tell you what it does. But yeah, this is kind of cool. The fact that we got Afro, Luffy, and Hattori in one set, it makes my heart happy. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these cards. Tell me if you're excited about the V-Jump Kid. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.